today, with Michael Ford from Aegis joining the panel, David Greenman and from Humiseal, and Sanjay Huprikar from the IPC. And I'm actually going to go straight into the IPC because IPC has recently done a study and has found some interesting findings about the workforce issues that the industry is facing. Sanjay, can you just give us an overview of those key findings first?
Sure, my pleasure. On a quarterly basis, IPC does what we call a pulse of the industry. And we ask our members globally a series of questions about all sorts of things. And one of the things we've asked them frequently is what are some of the factors that are limiting growth? And normally when we run this pulse of the industry, we get kind of the standard answers. Supply chain uncertainty, tariffs and trade issues. When we ran the study this time, we got an overwhelming response from our European and our US members about shortage of workforce development as being a huge issue in terms of sustaining the growth. And so as IPC, being an industry association, we pride ourselves on being a data-driven organization. We want to be problem solvers. We have recently launched some initiatives to address this issue.
Mm-hmm. We'll be talking about those sort of solutions that we've got in the market from the IPC's point of view, also from the vendors or equipment producers' point of view. First, I'd like to explore a few of those maybe underlying issues that are driving this workforce gap, I suppose, or a skills gap, or whatever it might be. So, Michael, where do you think the issue is stemming from?
I think the whole image of people working in manufacturing as assembly operators is not good. If you're a young person now looking to start a career, are you going to want to go into an environment where you're being asked to do a repetitive task, something which is having some skill associated with it, and there's a lot of learning to go with it, but once you've done that, there's no creativity. And so people are very much put off by doing that. But on the flip side, employers also don't like that situation, because with repetition comes complacency. With complacency comes mistakes. So you find that the majority of pain in manufacturing is actually derived from people. And you have to do the retraining, you have to do the reassessment. All of that adds up to a lose-lose situation. And that may not be true, actually, but that's certainly the impression that people have about going into manufacturing. Mm-hmm. So do you capture the best people possible in manufacturing? No. Mm-hmm. And so that is where the real challenge comes from, I think.
Mm-hmm. David, do you think that's really the core of the issue as well?
Yes, I do. And also, speaking from a UK perspective, I think we are sending too many young people to university to do what I call soft degrees, instead of bringing them into the industry as craft apprenticeships, learning from the bottom up and creating a career that way. Mm-hmm. Because these people come out of university after 3 years with a lot of debt in the UK, and they want to come into industry on big salaries, and they think because they have a degree they can do this, when in fact it's not what industry needs. Mm-hmm. What industry needs are apprentices to learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. That's where I stand on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if those are the underlying cause issues of the problem, let's look into the future. Let's look at what we're doing at the moment and what maybe we should be doing in the future to address that image problem, to address and attract the people back into manufacturing, and maybe even change our way of communicating that the industry, and acknowledging that our industry is changing in a way that is technology driven. Mm. And again, a good place to start with that is the IPC, because the IPC is one of those drivers of those. But I also then want to explore if it is maybe the sole responsibility of associations and universities, or if we all need to take some responsibility.
Yeah. So let me build on the comments that Michael and David made. We need more people like Michael and David. What we find in the IPC is too many people are sitting on their hands. They see the problem, but they're not willing to do anything about it. We need more people like these two fine gentlemen here. Here's what we've done to kind of be part of the collaboration in this. We have started a Workforce Champion Initiative. We started that initiative in the United States last year. We made a pledge that we were going to create 1 million training opportunities over a 5-year period for students and workers. Just 6 weeks ago, we were in Brussels and we sat with the Commissioner for Employment, and we made a similar pledge that we want to create 500,000 training opportunities in Europe over the next 5 years. To support that, what we've done is we've put in a sizable amount of financial investment, resources and time of staff to create different initiatives, sub-initiatives. One initiative we call the Job Tasks Analysis. This is an initiative where we are using the knowledge, skills, and abilities to create new programs. So historically, for the last 15, 20 years, no one has done an assessment of what are the real key skills that workers need to be successful in this industry. So we have now led an initiative where we're working with industry to identify those job skills and abilities, and then creating programs around that. IPC has also relaunched their foundation. We're calling it the Education Foundation. And what we're doing with that foundation is we're specifically investing in the high schools, in the primary schools, to get those kids to understand that this is a really appealing area of the world. Electronics. Everything that we're doing is electronics these days. You can't go a day without interfacing with electronics. I don't think the kids understand that. So we need to do a better job as an industry to make them understand that. And I think in time, we'll see more people get into this industry. There are great jobs out there that are going unfulfilled, and it's we need to do something about it. So this is our little piece of how we're collaborating with the industry.
Absolutely, and maybe then therefore a question to you, David and Michael, too little too late, or exactly on the right track where we need to be?
I think it is probably, it's not too late, but I think I agree we have to get into the primary schools, we have to teach the STEM program, get the kids interested in technology, not just from a point of view of playing games on boxes, but understand what's behind it. Get the teachers involved, get them programming, get them maybe building simple circuits so they can learn and infuse about it. And I think this is where things have gone wrong. There's too many, what's the word I'm looking for? There's just too many soft programs in education, in my opinion. I know it's probably a bit old age thinking, but I think we need to get back to hands-on technology.
Yeah. Do we really? Because when we look around these shows, and a lot of the panels and interviews I'm doing, we're talking about automation, we're talking about technology-enabled progress, process control, etc. So therefore, is it the hands-on people that are needed, or is it more the new type of younger ones that are tech savvy, that are growing up with this, where jobs are being created that require completely new skills that us old folks don't really understand that well at the moment?
As I said, people working in manufacturing is a lose-lose situation up until now. We need to completely reinvent that. And as you said, kids playing on screens and things. This is a generation now that we've grown up with. People have different skills, and we may not measure them in the same way as we used to. So let's reinvent what manufacturing is in terms of how we use people, because people are the most flexible thing we have within manufacturing, far more flexible than machines. And yet we spend most of our time connecting machines at the excellent CFX from IPC, but we also need to include the people. How we include those people? Well, let's give them what they want. They play video games, they put on augmented reality or VR headsets. So let's give them the augmented reality to do their jobs in manufacturing. These kind of kids, they're growing up now, they're familiar with the technology, they appreciate the opportunity to be involved in a wide variety of different tasks that involve creativity, involve their input and feedback. That's what we are creating from our software, an integration of that kind of opportunity that will attract younger people into the industry who play on these boxes and think, I wonder if I could make that better. I wonder how that works. I'd love to be a part of the creation of that product and give them an environment where they can express that creativity. So the technology has to be responsible for creating that opportunity to drive people to the industry who then sign up to the educational programs.
You mentioned some of the links you have with governments, with industry as well. what sort of feedback are you getting? Because right at the beginning, we spoke about an image problem. So are the people involved in the governments and the people involved in educational institutions still seeing manufacturing as dry, boring, nerdy, or whatever it might be?
Well, I think some may see it that way, but a lot of people are saying it's about time someone's doing something about it. We commissioned Oxford Economics to do a study for us on electronics in Europe specifically. And what we found is that the electronics industry is heading east and into Eastern Europe. And while I agree with Michael and David that with robotics and automation, there's going to be a new skill set that needs to be developed, at the same time, people still need to build boards. People still need to do rework. People still need to figure out how to do wire harnesses. And so those jobs are out there. And we need to find that workforce, develop that workforce, and give them a pathway on how they can be successful, even in doing those jobs. The glass is half full. There's plenty of time. Now we have some serious people looking at this, so we're gonna make it happen.
Okay.
All of us collectively, the entire industry. It's not just one. It's not. We need to make that point clear. It's not just one entity that's doing this.
Yeah.
A lot of people need to work together to do this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And that was really then my next question. Are we in our connected industry, because we are talking about machine connectivity, are we connecting on a business to business, university or apprenticeship scheme to business level enough? Can the industry players that we see here do a lot more? Should they be doing a lot more in terms of marketing themselves to the workforce of tomorrow?
Well, I think it comes back to starting at the beginning in the schools, getting them interested in technology. As Mike has said, if it's getting them into understanding what they're playing with. But I agree with my IPC friend here that you've got to. We still need people that understand how to build stuff, and that's what we've got to start. We've got to get them interested. I was a governor of a primary school for a while, and I remember talking to the science teacher and saying, "Are you getting the girls doing some programming?" When the Raspberry Pi came out, "Oh no, I don't have time. I have to work to the curriculum and the curriculum rules." So the curriculum doesn't include technology, in my opinion. It's teaching them the wrong things.
Yeah, it does come down to a lot about motivation. And motivation will come from businesses when they see some kind of value from it. But how do you get the value? How do you understand that until you start to try it? And so we see a great reluctance for changing anything within the industry, because a change produces risk, and a risk is obviously going to have consequences if something goes wrong. But I think we've seen the gradual decline in the image of the industry and the reluctance of people to introduce technology. So it is time to go back to the ground
roots.
Grassroots, get people in the schools to understand that this is actually a sexy thing to do now. It's not just the thing that you have to do to earn some money during the school holidays or something. This is actually something that's a career. It's something that you have a lot of responsibility and creativity. And that's what comes out, I think, in the training courses that people have. But I think that people in the industry need to get together with you to actually say, look, we are the ones who would like to take this forward. We're not going to change our whole factory overnight, but we're going to start to see the effect of these changes, make our operation more attractive to people, and we're going to invest in doing that to reverse this decline.
Now, I'm sorry I have to interrupt this because we've come to the end of our session, but the three gentlemen will still be here for some questions, obviously straight after this. It's been very encouraging to hear that there are some great initiatives already coming out of the industry. I think we've still got a job to do, obviously, to improve our image, but looking at the audience, looking at my panel, I think we're pretty damn sexy. So I think a lot more people will come to the industry and enjoy it. So thank you very much for your time today, and good luck with the rest of the show here in Nuremberg.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.